We've been in the customer service industry for more than 65 years combined. Amos and I created this podcast to share our thoughts on how you can navigate customer service. And while we don't always agree, and I often have to explain to Amos why he's wrong, we hope that you will be the winner based on our experiences working from the inside out.
Bob, it is so good to see you. We shoot this thing on Friday, so it's always a good way to end my week chatting with you. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. It is good for it to be a Friday. It's been a good week here in Memphis with a lot of sunshine. So gonna have sunshine today, and it's touching spring, and then It's gonna get cold again. I know it is.
Well, speaking of sunshine, I think you'll be happy to hear that I am in a good mood today. I'm not in a fighting mood today. So I thought we should do something very different today. We spend a lot of time on this show helping consumers and customers everywhere navigate this crazy world of customer service. And today, how about we talk about what is actually going well in the world of service and overall customer experience? So
I love it.
I thought you would. So I'll get us started. I love Thai food, and the best Thai restaurant in Oklahoma City is about 10 minutes away from me. I mean, I'm talking, Bob, every bite of the food tastes like getting a warm hug from your grandma. It is. Oh.
Do you like it? Do you like it hot? Like I like it where my forehead's sweating a little bit.
Exactly. Oh, fantastic. The most inefficient, chaotic kitchen you would ever find. She makes everything from scratch. It's fantastic. So one afternoon I was jonesing for this thing, so I drive down there, and I get there, and I mean there's ice and snow on the ground, and the place is closed, and so I hear some activity coming in, so I knock, no one answers, and as I'm headed back to my truck, she pops out of the restaurant, and I see in the background, it looks like she spent the night there, and I can see some of her family's there. And so I apologize and say, I'm going to go on. And she goes, absolutely not. She recognizes me and says, what am I in the mood for? Do I want my usual? She will whip it up for me. And I am, uncomfortable. I don't want to put them out, but, I was jonesing for some Thai food. So, I said, sure. She invited me in. I declined. I went back to my truck. And she made me this meal, probably the best Thai dish I've ever had in my life, maybe because of the circumstance. And I've eaten Thai in Philippines and Thailand. It was so amazing. And guess what, Bob? I will never eat Thai anywhere else, right? Every time I want Thai food, which is a lot, this is the one restaurant I go. So I have a smile on my face anytime I think about it.
I love that you said that it made you feel like your grandma's warm hug, and then she stuck her head out the door, sort of like your grandma would do, and like refused to let you walk away without eating. Right? Grandmas are like that. So
exactly.
That's an awesome visual, man.
That's awesome. What about you?
So mine is, I thought that this brand was just in Memphis. I thought some guy had brought it to Memphis for the first time. And I went on their website recently and realized that they're in about, I don't know, the little dots on the map look like about 100 places.
Okay.
But we have a new coffee place in Memphis called Seven Brew. And it's an unusual world. Remember at Starbucks, that I remember a time I read a book about Starbucks, and they wanted it to be your third place. So They wanted it to be your home, your work, and then come be with us and come hang out at Starbucks. And there was a lot of that going on. I think some of it had lost its glamour before the pandemic, and then I think the pandemic sort of pushed it over the edge, that we order on the app, we walk in and get our drink, and we may or may not even say hello or talk to anyone. But I remember fondly the days of giving them my name and writing it on the cup and all of that. Well, Seven Brew sort of took that and said, well, how would we do that in a drive-through? And so typically it's an untypical in drive-through environment, a little bit of Chick-fil-A-ish kind of drive-through in
Right.
that somebody comes out and takes your order on an iPad, and she knows who you are. You give her your phone number and she tells you what kind of specials, and so that experience is different than the typical drive-through. And then you pull up and you're sort of waiting on your food to be for your coffee to be made, and there's a lady who takes your money and is going to be your server. And so there could be this uncomfortable little moment where you're sort of waiting on your food and she's standing there or he's standing there, and instead of making that like that, what they did is they've trained their employees to build relationships with the people sitting in their cars. And they ask you questions, is this your normal order? What's your favorite coffee? All of those kind of things. But then on the door, they have a question of the day. Do you like meatballs or regular spaghetti? You want meatballs in your spaghetti? Or do you like the snow or do you hate the snow? Just a some kind of question that you and I would debate for a while if we were to ask the question today. And then they hand you your coffee. They wipe it off every time they hand it to you, and so they hand you your coffee. But what impressed me about this place is that I find myself happy. I find myself, before I ever get my product, I'm in a different mood. I'm in a good mood. They've made me laugh. They have trained their employees to be conversationalists, and it brightens your day. It brightens your morning. And so the coffee's great. If the coffee was bad, it probably wouldn't be a great experience. So you got to do the minimum well.
Right.
But the coffee is almost secondary to the experience.
I love that.
So I love a company that takes the norm and then adds little pieces to it to make it better.
So I'll tell you another one. I remember this vividly. This one's something that could have gone wrong. I was in some small town, for work, as you and I as consultants over the years do. I stay at this hotel, and by the time I get home, I think everything's fine. The next day, I'm about to start my work, and I realize I left my book bag in the room.
Oh my goodness.
So of course I'm retracing my steps. Is it at the airport? It was some small town. Anyway, I finally figure out the hotel. I get on the phone, I call, and they say someone will call me back. I give them my name, my room, and she's like, yeah, we'll go and we'll check. You know why? I haven't been back to that small town since, but if I ever go back there, it's the only place I'll stay. But so they finally get back to calling me back late in the afternoon, because I remember working without my book bag. So by the time they finally getting around to call me, my book bag was already in front of my door.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So like, I'm not even, she calls me and says, hey, yes, sorry it took me so long, blah, 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 blah. We found it. It's okay. We have your address and we shipped it to you. It should already be there, or it'll be there soon. And I go open my front door, and sure enough, in this box, it's in there. And of course I'm asking her, hey, you've got my credit card on file. Pay for the overnight shipping and all of that. But my gosh, right? They're not, I can't imagine doing business with anyone else if I ever find myself back again. It's a town called Paragould, Arkansas. Not a lot of people have heard of it. But I can't.
I spent a year there one night.
But I can't imagine staying anywhere else. What about you?
So my second one is a little different from the perspective of I just talked to you about something that's very personal and very engaging. And
Right.
my second one that came to mind when I think about this is the opposite. It's Amazon, and it's really
Interesting.
about their self-service,
Mm.
and how well they think ahead of me.
Mm.
You know, if I buy something and it's the wrong size or it's not what I expected, the refund process, I don't have to talk to anyone. I just go and search for my orders for the item. I say I want to return it. I give them a reason. They give me a printout. I can either it's a barcode or a QR code that I can take to UPS, and they'll scan it, and I don't even have to pack it. They just put it into another box. About 90% of the time, there's some of them that require you to pack it and send it the normal way. But again, they give me a sticker and a shipping address. And so what I'm impressed about that is that they've taken the what could be a, a, a both something that they have to do work for. I've got to
Right.
talk to an agent, and they take my need to not talk to an agent to just return the package and make it simple and make it easy. And there are so many other places within Amazon that um, that they make recommendations that make sense.
Right.
I'm also impressed with the fact that once I buy an item, you know how when you buy it, you know how when you go online and you search for something in a company, and now you get 17 ads about the
Right.
something that you searched on
Right.
Tuesday and you bought
Right.
Tuesday night.
Right.
It doesn't happen with them. They
Yeah.
automatically put it into a category of you bought this, and we don't need to advertise it anymore. Now, occasionally I get something that's like that, but I'm just they're one of my favorite brands. But here's the kicker. The kicker is that if I see an ad on TV for something that I want, that is I don't know, a blanket, and it's a particular kind of weighted blanket, and there's a place to buy online, I will search Amazon to
First. Yeah.
find out whether they offer it, because I know what their return policy is. I know what the experience is going to be. So I think it makes other companies really have to play an A game whenever somebody is an Amazon customer. And as you know, there are millions of us.
Exactly. And I think to that point, for our customers, and I'll go first and kind of say what I'm learning in the summary from some of this. You've just seen examples of trillion-dollar companies, a Thai restaurant you've never heard of, and maybe something in the middle of the road, Seven Brew coffee that you may or may not have heard of. And after each story, we said, why would I shop anywhere else? Why would I eat anywhere else? Why would I do this anywhere else? Some hotel in the middle of nowhere you've never heard of. And I think what it tells me, the hope it gives me is if you as a customer have good experience and you reward that brand, we say this every week and it's because it's true, with your wallet, with your feet, with your share of and tweeting and all of that, that's how we drive change. That's why it's almost standard now when you order something, and most retailers online know that returns needs to be a thing. Amazon's forcing them to do that. But we need to vote with our feet. And the second thing I would say that I picked up from these stories is whether it's synthetic as in Amazon, I don't think anyone at Amazon cares about me or cares about Bob, but they've built technology and processes to simulate caring and knowing Bob, or whether it's, organic in that, I'm not going to say her name, but the lady who owns that Thai restaurants knows me, cares about me, has watched my kid go from 8 years old to 19 years old. Those are the two things, right, that I pick up from it, that those are the brands we should be doing business with. What are kind of your lessons, Bob?
Well, first of all, Amazon does know me because I have Alexa, and so they know way too much about me. They're listening to my life and figuring out a lot of things about me. There's a database somewhere I probably need to purge. But I agree. I think that I saw a speaker last week by the name of Brittany Haddock, and she's written a book called Superfan.
Yeah.
And if you're in business, I would highly recommend the book. It is a simplistic look at making little things better. And you and I know in the consulting world, we spend a lot of time with companies analyzing where their pain points were and then trying to make little things better. And
Right.
so things like, what's the experience in the elevator?
Right.
Really? What's the
Right.
experience in the elevator? Well, if you're Legoland, can you build an experience in the elevator that delights the kids? I don't know. I never thought of that. I'm not expecting an experience in my banking elevator, but if I'm at
Right.
Legoland, that's pretty cool. So great book. But she drove home the point that experience starts with the first interaction, and that every interaction after that, whether it's website, email, phone, in person, after the sale, I mentioned after the sale emails that don't know that I bought the product, whatever that is, that's what makes us loyal customers, is the experience. And I will admit that in the customer service world, I get a little lost between what's customer service and what's customer experience. But customer service can happen inside the experience, but the
Yep.
experience is much bigger.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that's a good place to leave it. I hope you all got a little bit smarter as customers this week, and we'll chat with you guys next week.
Thanks, Amos.